Hey guys, I'm back. I wanted to start this by saying, because something happened to you, it does not give you an excuse to do it to someone else. A lot of times people will say, well, I did it. It happened to me and look how I turned out. Yes, analyze how you turned out. Are you comfortable in silence? Are you comfortable by yourself? Do you feel empowered? Are you happy? Are you joyous? Are you okay? When's the last time you cried? When's the last time you smiled? Because people always say, oh, this thing happened to me and I'm fine. If you say that, you're not fine. And why not make the next group have a better experience? I'm not saying to give them everything, children, the youth, the next generation, whoever comes behind you, they do have to earn their stripes. However, there's a difference between helping someone earn their stripes, practicing discipline and boundaries, and being a turd and being a narcissist and being someone who attacks people or hurts them just because you want to. A lot of people who say that, oh, well, I did and look at how I turned out, are part of the problem. They're part of the people who are hurting others, and they use it as an excuse because it happened to me and I turned out okay. If you turned out okay, would you be in the situation you're in, regardless of however you are financially, regardless of however you are present day in terms of what people see on the outside? What does the inside of you look like? There are a lot of people out here who they buy all these nice things, they do all this stuff to show the external. Every time I see that, I always think, what are you missing inside? And do you realize how easily targetable you are to emotional vultures? Because if you always have to prove yourself, to show, you always have to talk about all the stuff that you have and all the stuff that you've done, if you always have to speak on it and it doesn't speak for itself, that shows that you're insecure, you have low self-esteem, and you're easy to manipulate. And then they say, well, all those holier than thou folks, all those I'm better than you folks, all those, it just screams low self-esteem. It screams that you really feel like you're less than others. And you, specifically whoever you keep trying to flex on, you feel inferior to them. And so you want them to feel how you feel. But it typically doesn't happen. But sometimes it does. Sometimes people who are powerful internally get wrapped up in that superficial nonsense and start to feel less about themselves. And the thing is, like I'm not saying don't get you a Mozzie if you can have a Mozzie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't pull up with the rollie that's not what I'm saying at all. But there's a difference between silent luxury and grace and loud riches. And loud, look, I got this. There's a difference. And ultimately, if you just watch people long enough and listen and let them talk, they will show you who they are. People love to talk about themselves. So do less talking. That's why we have one mouth and two eyes. Do more listening. We have two ears. Do more listening. Do more watching and observing. Do more listening. Do more smelling. I equate smelling to my instincts. If something's wrong, I always tip my nose up. It's like I can smell bullshit. And when you talk, you say stuff. You don't come off obviously as a target, because there are people out here who are like myself, who are energy readers. There are people out here who are like myself, who can sense, okay, this person has an insecurity. Wonder what that insecurity is about. And someone like me, I will not exploit it. Other people will exploit it, or I'll try not to exploit it. But some people's insecurities are so loud that you can't help but exploit it because because it's just so pronounced. It's a part of their personality. And so you don't want to be that way. And if you are that way currently, you don't have to stay that way, because you seriously do become a target of people's. When they can see that all I need to do is give you a compliment and you'll do anything. And so, it's just about recognizing that and also recognizing that you're more than what you can do for others. You're more than what you can provide. You're more than what you're wearing. You're a energy source, a soul having a human experience. You're more than what people can see. And it's, how do you feel about yourself when you're alone? If you didn't have any of the possessions you have, how would you walk? Would you walk with your head held high, or would you slouch? How do you walk in general? Do you walk with your head held high? There's just a difference in posture and just how you feel about yourself. That's why I intentionally walk straight. I intentionally, as much as I can, I'm sitting on the couch now, but I intentionally try to sit up straight whenever possible. Because even the act of me just sitting up makes me feel like, okay, I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great, and hyping yourself up, being a celebration of yourself, and affirming yourself just because you can, just feeling good about yourself just because you do, feeling worthy just because you are, and then the accolades, because I like to achieve things, so the accolades and achievements are a byproduct of that. But you are already, and I'm working on this too, you, me, we, us, I, them, all of us are already worthy just because we are. And when you feel like you have to prove your worth to another is when you have a problem. And yes, of course, are there people that I would really like to drive up in the Mozzie and do donuts in their parking lot? Absolutely. Is there a moment in time where I might flex on the gram when I get the rollie and be like, oh, a lot's changed since you last saw me? Perhaps. So I'm not sitting up here judging or saying that is bad. I'm just saying recognize what it can mean. Recognize that means that there's a deficiency somewhere. And if it's because you got to prove a point and be like, y'all thought it was one thing, but let me tell you what's really popping over here, fine, do that, have that experience. And though, recognize that it's not coming from a place of wholeness. It's not coming from a place of healing. But perhaps you need that to, sometimes we need that gutter. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's not coming from a place of pain. It's not coming from a place of weakness, and recognize that. And perhaps by the time you get to that place where you can do donuts in their parking lot, you might only just do one. Or you might just pull up and stop and let them see the Mozzie outside. Or you might pull up and do just like a couple of donuts, but you might not mess the grass up. Before, maybe your plan was to drive a circles around their entire house and fuck up their grass. But now you just pull up and just let it shine. Or perhaps you I'm gonna wait till everybody's outside so I can pull up and everybody can see. You know what I'm saying? It might be less. And then you might get to the point where you're like, I don't even care, man. I don't. And they'll see it anyway. Because the universe will feed you in front of those who try to starve you. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be on some get back. But you can be if you want to. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying recognize where it comes from. And recognize that then that puts you in that bracket of potentially you having insecurity about something. But it doesn't mean that you don't do it, So take everything I'd be saying with a grain of salt and just apply it to how it applies. Because are there people's houses that I'm definitely going to pull up? Absolutely. Will there be a post of a watch at some point? Probably. And can I admit that it comes from a place of healing potential? Yes, sure does. But will it make it any less amazing to do? No. And do I look forward to that day? Yes, I sure do. But it doesn't mean that doesn't come from a place that needs to be healed. That's the point. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and just have grace for yourself and have grace for others. And if you can do something that helps the next to have an easier, better situation, then you do it. But at the same time, don't be a doormat. Don't be the person that's holding the door open for everyone and you never go inside. Hold the door for the next one and walk in. And if there's nobody behind you, keep walking. Because a lot of times what will happen, I'm not going to go into this too much because I got to go. But I will say it because that just happened. What happens is a lot of times we'll try to pull people along that are not supposed to go. And I had to learn the hard way that if you pull the wrong people around you, they will F you up. So You don't pull anyone behind you. If someone's walking behind you already, then you hold the door open for them because it's just the right thing to do. And you don't have to. You can let the door close and they can open it themselves. But you do not pull people you don't force them to come with you because you don't really know who's who. And there could be people around you that hate you. They love you, but they hate you at the same time. And you let them in and they will try to ruin your life. Believe me, it happened to me. It happened to me in like a horrible, horrible way. Because I trusted the wrong people. Even after they showed me who they were. Because they were family. And I just was like so naive. And that's why I brought up the previous video about inner child. Because I just wanted to believe that this person was not this way. I just wanted to believe that these people loved me. I just wanted to believe it. My inner child just needed that. And then it ended up hurting me really badly. And it took like a couple months for me to just recover my mind, literally. And that's why I'm so serious about this. If someone shows you who they are, believe them, regardless if they're your family. Because you're only betrayed by people you've trusted. So recognize who's worth your trust. And if someone continues to try to knock your confidence, if someone continues to make fun of you, if someone continues to try to make you feel bad about yourself, if someone continues to betray you, if someone continues to lie on you and lie to you, at some point you have to recognize maybe they're doing it on purpose. Maybe they know exactly what they're doing and they're doing it again and again and again for a reason. Maybe they're not confused. Maybe there's nothing you can do to get them to accept you. Maybe there's nothing you can do, because the more that you try to get them to accept you, the worse they treat you. And then if you're like me, you start to rebel. And then when you start to rebel, you ruin their facade, their lie that they've told people. And then they try to attack you and hurt you and potentially try to poison you. Potentially, literally try to poison you. Who knows what they are capable of? But the point is that you do not want to find out. So stop effing around so you don't have to find out. Stop effing around with people that you know do not have your best interest, that you feel in your gut. If someone has to keep trying to force you to be like them and keep trying to force their superiority on you and keep trying to make you be something you're not, recognize that perhaps that's just who they are and you don't need that around you. And those people can be dangerous. I'm telling from experience. They are dangerous. So stay away from them, regardless if they're your family member or not. If someone shows you who they are and they consistently try to hurt you, they're always belittling you, they're always trying to knock your confidence down, they're always making fun of you, even if they're just joking, because it's not funny to make fun of someone. It's not funny. If they're always doing that to you, when they like you, what would they do when you stop abiding by their rules and their structure? They'll try to take you out. They'll try to remove you from this planet because they're irrational. That's what happened to me. So I'm just saying, if someone shows you who they are, believe them and then get away from those people. And don't try to feel like you have to appease them, or if you just do maybe this one thing differently, maybe then they'll accept you. No, because the better you get, and I saw it for myself, the better you get, the more worthy you start to feel, the more success you have, the worse they'll try to treat you. You don't want that experience. So separate from those people quickly. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe anybody loyalty, especially someone who's always coming at you and trying to make you feel bad. You owe yourself loyalty, and you owe yourself enough respect to not allow yourself to be a dang on doormat. How about that? And I'm talking to me too. And I love you, and I want the best for you. Well, I think I love you if you're watching this video, but I want the best for you. And I want you to recognize that you do not have to be around people who hate you or who do not like you or who want you to fail. Because even if you have to go through a lonely period, the right people will find you. You might go from having a group of friends to maybe no friends and maybe a couple associates. But that's better, because at least you can drink the water and know that it's not contaminated. Because your own family will try to take you off this planet if they have the opportunity to if you're blowing up their facade. Believe me, I know. So with that being said, I hope that, or they'll try to, I almost say try to be so dramatic, or they'll try to ruin your reputation. I had someone, I think it was a family member, make a fake profile of me that I was like a prostitute or like an S worker, and was showing my grandmother, showing my aunt, saying we can't go on her page anymore because she's posting this crazy stuff. But then when I asked to see it, the page vanished. So that leads me to think it was one of them. So stay safe.